Good morning, friends. We continue our devotions through chapter 4 of Revelation. I hope you've enjoyed these little bite-sized devotions in the morning. They're just thoughts that come out of the passage as we read to help us to start the day. And today I was reading about the creatures before God's throne in chapter 4 as I was reading it through. And I was struck by the way that they are depicted. They are described. It says in the center around the throne were 4 living creatures. That's verse 6 of chapter 4. And it says, and they were covered with eyes in front and back. The first living creatures was like a lion, the second like an ox, the third had a face like a man, and the fourth was like a flying eagle. And each of the 4 living creatures had 6 wings and was covered with eyes all around, even under its wings. A strange picture of the diversity of creatures before God's throne, and what we can see is that they are majestic, they are big, an ox, strong, a lion, fierce, the man who rules over the animals, and the eagle, obviously the king of birds. We can see that these presents God's majesty, and they serving God, and they cry out day and night. It says, never stop saying, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. I find that such a wonderful phrase. Holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. One of my favourite books is a book from Steph Liston and Dan Jones. He was and is to come. It's a really great, it's just a poem that's been put into almost cartoon version, and my friend Dan has illustrated it. It's really, really lovely, and it starts like this. It says this. It says, before air or light or spinning spheres, before laughter, shouting joy or tears, before everything we've ever touched or held or stroked or tried to reach, or thoughts to say or tried to teach, before oceans and creatures and soaring heights, before depths and mysteries and first winged flights, before anything that we now see and love or long for or want to be, before all the dreaming and inventions, before all the scheming and conventions, before all the cultures and the nations, before all the life's great and strange sensations, before everything we've seen and done, he was and is to come. And so the book goes on describing God, who was and is to come. Now I find that a great assurance at the start of the day, knowing that God was, he is to come. He has been eternal, and he has always been. Therefore, my life is in his hands. The past of my life is in his hand. The now of my life is in his hands, and the future of my life is in his hands. I am assured that he is in control. Just like these living creatures are crying out, he is mighty, he is holy, he presents the great might of heaven. And when you look back, sometimes you may kind of look over your life and you think, where was God in the past? All the things that have happened to me, how do I explain that? Well, God was there, even through the tough things that you went through, and he holds that in his hands, and he promises to redeem it and to bring it to fruit if we stick close to him. You may be worried about today, what's going to be happening today. You might have some big things coming up, or you may know that he is the God of today. He was and he is now here with us, and he is to come. You might be worried about the future. We've got some big things happening at the moment where we're just weighing things up in our hearts and looking after our kids and the church and caring for it well. Well, all these things are in God's hands. You may be assured that he is with you. So let me encourage you. What is Jesus saying to you through this passage today? What does it mean for your life to be in his hand? Your past, your present, and your future. Why don't you take some time to listen to what Jesus has to say, and why don't you take some time to pray, to submit today in his hand, your past and your future.